Hi everyone, Danny here today to talk to you about Nicole Conway's book, Immortal. This is book 4 of the Dragonrider Chronicles. This is a book series where the first 3 books were good enough to keep me coming back for more, but not good enough to turn me into a raving fan. And part of the problem for me is the narrator. Now, if you look on Audible at the written reviews, there are several people who actually really enjoy the narrator. Remember, this is my personal opinion, so it may be different for you. For me, the narration was terrible, and the narration really ruined the story, especially in book 4. Book 4, in my opinion, was the worst out of the lot. You've got the book series is about a half human, half elf child. Hated by the humans, hated by the elves. Elves and humans are at war. Humans have dragon riders, elves do not. He becomes a dragon rider. He develops friendships. He also starts to develop special powers. Now, at the end of book 3, he ends up, there's a major battle between the dragon riders and the humans and the elves, and he ends up going into the elven forest, learning all sorts of stuff about himself, learning that he's basically a paladin of the elven god, and that he has to kill the human king, both to save the humans and to save the elves. To do what's right, he has to kill the elven king. That's where that leaves off. Book 4 starts off with his best friend Felix, who is going through major depression because he thinks Jace is dead. Jace is the half human, half elf. He thinks he's dead. And so he's destroying his life. He's like into alcohol, everything he can possibly do to wipe out his life. Probably about half the book is his depression. And then maybe a third of the book is his depression. And then this girl that in an earlier book he had talked about badly gets introduced. There's a romance that develops between them. He gets cleaned up. And finally, 2/3 of the way through the book, you're reintroduced to the entire theme of the story. And then the final third of the book is them, Jace, fulfilling his destiny, I'll say. It does leave off with the potential for more to come later. I myself personally will not be listening to it if Jesse Einstein is still the narrator. For me, he totally detracts from the story. Anyone who's an audiobook fan will agree that a good narrator can take a bad book and make it good, and a bad narrator can destroy a good book. I would be really interested to hear how this series would come across to me with a different narrator. Jesse can't do voices at all. It's not that he's flat or monotone or anything like that. He's not really emotional. He doesn't have a lot of emotion that comes out, and he can't do voices. There are times in the book where it flips from Felix's perspective to Jace's perspective. And because there's no voices coming across from the narration, if you don't catch that, we're flipping scenarios now, we're flipping perspectives, you get lost. And wait, what's going on here? Wait a minute, this is, You can try it for yourself. If the narrator does not, detract from the series from you, then you may really enjoy it. Like I said, despite the bad narration, the first 3 books were good enough to keep me coming back for more. So with a narrator that I really liked, they might be good enough to turn me into a raving fan. Don't know. Audio has re-released books with other narrators. I don't think that's going to happen with this one because, like I said, a lot of the reviews like the narration. So I seem to be alone in my opinion of the narration. And Mr. Einstein, if you see this, I apologize. It's just, my opinion. Yeah, if you listen to it and you like it, I'd be interested to have you, leave me a comment saying, hey, I disagreed. I actually liked the narration. Or if you agreed with me, leave me a comment saying, I agreed, and maybe we can get Audible to re-record it with a different narrator. Any comments at all, feel free to leave me. If you like my channel, please subscribe, and I hope everyone has a wonderful day.